The world of personal computing is going through one of the most fascinating transitions in decades, and at the center of this transformation is Linux. For years, Linux was seen as the operating system for developers, system administrators, and hardcore tech enthusiasts. It was powerful, stable, and secure, but it also carried a reputation for being difficult and unfriendly for everyday users. Fast forward to 2026. And that perception has dramatically changed. Linux is no longer a niche platform reserved for specialists. It has become one of the most exciting, innovative, and user-focused ecosystems in the technology world. With modern interfaces, seamless hardware support, powerful performance, and an ever-growing software library, Linux distributions are now competing directly with traditional operating systems that once dominated the desktop space. The shift has been gradual, but undeniable. Over the past decade, frustrations with traditional proprietary systems have grown. Many users have felt overwhelmed by forced updates, heavy system requirements, intrusive telemetry, and limitations on customization. At the same time, Linux has been quietly evolving. Developers around the world have been refining desktop environments, improving driver compatibility, and creating distributions that are easier to install and use than ever before. The result is a landscape where Linux distributions are not only viable alternatives, but in many cases superior choices, depending on the user's needs. In 2026, the idea of switching from a traditional operating system to Linux no longer feels risky. Instead, it feels exciting. Whether someone is looking for speed on older hardware, total control over their computing environment, enhanced privacy, or simply a modern and beautiful desktop experience, Linux now offers options that can rival or even surpass the most popular commercial platforms. What makes the Linux ecosystem unique is its diversity. Unlike a single operating system controlled by one company, Linux consists of hundreds of distributions, each designed with a particular philosophy and audience in mind. Among those many choices, a few distributions are rising to the top in 2026. These are the systems that combine stability, usability, innovation, and performance in ways that appeal to both longtime Linux enthusiasts and newcomers, migrating from other operating systems. For users who have spent years on familiar platforms but are beginning to wonder what else is out there, these distributions represent the front line of the Linux revolution. They demonstrate just how far open-source desktop computing has come and why so many people are paying attention. One of the most influential and widely respected distributions leading this movement is Linux Mint. For many users making the jump from a traditional desktop environment, Linux Mint feels instantly comfortable. Its interface is familiar, clean, and intuitive, which reduces the learning curve dramatically. The developers behind Linux Mint have always focused on creating a system that just works. That philosophy has made it one of the most recommended distributions for beginners and former Windows users alike. In 2026, Linux Mint continues to refine that experience with improvements that make the system faster, more responsive, and more polished than ever before. The Cinnamon desktop environment has evolved into one of the most elegant and practical desktop interfaces in the Linux world. It combines traditional desktop layouts with modern visual effects and thoughtful design choices. For someone switching from another operating system, the layout feels natural. The Start menu style launcher, the system tray, and the straightforward settings panels all contribute to an experience that feels both familiar and modern. But the real strength of Linux Mint lies beneath the surface. It is built on a solid foundation that prioritizes stability and reliability. Updates are carefully curated to avoid breaking the system, and the built-in tools make software management incredibly simple. Installing applications from the software manager takes only a few clicks, and the system's performance remains smooth, even on older hardware. This is one reason why Linux Mint has become a favorite for breathing new life into aging computers. Another major player in the Linux revolution of 2026 is Fedora. While Linux Mint focuses on stability and familiarity, Fedora represents the cutting edge of Linux innovation. It is known for adopting new technologies early while maintaining a high level of quality and reliability. Many of the features that eventually appear in other Linux distributions first emerge in Fedora, making it a glimpse into the future of desktop computing. Fedora's flagship desktop environment, GNOME, has evolved into one of the most modern and visually striking interfaces available. Instead of copying traditional desktop metaphors, GNOME introduces a workflow built around simplicity and productivity. The interface emphasizes focus, minimalism, and powerful keyboard-driven navigation. While it may feel different at first for users coming from other systems, many quickly discover that it offers a streamlined and efficient way to work. In 2026, Fedora continues to push the boundaries with improvements in performance, security, and hardware compatibility. The distribution integrates the latest Linux kernel developments, ensuring excellent support for modern processors, graphics, hardware, and peripherals. Fedora also plays a major role in advancing technologies such as Wayland, containerization, and system security frameworks. For users who want to experience the most advanced features the Linux ecosystem has to offer, Fedora stands out as one of the most exciting choices available. Another distribution gaining enormous attention in 2026 is Pop_OS. Developed by the hardware company System 76, Pop_OS has built a reputation for delivering a refined and powerful desktop experience tailored for productivity and performance. While it shares some roots with other distributions, Pop_OS introduces its own unique innovations that make it especially appealing for developers, creators, and power users. One of the most impressive aspects of Pop_OS is its focus on workflow efficiency. The system includes advanced window tiling features that allow users to manage multiple applications effortlessly. Instead of constantly resizing and arranging windows manually, the operating system intelligently organizes them across the screen. This approach dramatically improves productivity, especially for users working with multiple tools or documents simultaneously. Pop_OS also excels in hardware support, particularly for graphics-intensive tasks. The distribution offers dedicated versions optimized for systems with NVIDIA GPUs, ensuring that gaming, video editing, and machine learning workloads run smoothly right out of the box. This attention to detail has made Pop_OS a favorite among users who need high performance without spending hours configuring their system. As Linux continues to expand its reach into gaming, creative work, and development, Pop_OS represents the new generation of distributions that prioritize both power and usability. It demonstrates how Linux can compete directly with commercial operating systems in areas that were once considered difficult for open-source platforms. Arch Linux represents a different but equally important part of the Linux ecosystem. Unlike beginner-friendly distributions, Arch is designed for users who want complete control over their system. It follows a philosophy of simplicity and customization, providing a minimal base that users build upon according to their own preferences. While Arch Linux has traditionally been seen as challenging to install and configure, its influence across the Linux world is enormous. Many popular distributions draw inspiration from Arch's rolling release model, which provides continuous updates rather than large periodic upgrades. This approach ensures that users always have access to the latest software and features without needing to reinstall their system. In 2026, the popularity of Arch continues to grow, partly due to improvements in installation tools and documentation. The Arch community is known for maintaining one of the most comprehensive and helpful knowledge bases in the Linux world. The Arch Wiki has become an invaluable resource for troubleshooting and learning about Linux systems in general. One of the most powerful aspects of Arch is its package ecosystem. The Arch user repository contains thousands of additional software packages contributed by the community, allowing users to install almost any application imaginable with minimal effort. For advanced users who enjoy customizing every detail of their computing environment, Arch provides a level of flexibility that few other operating systems can match. The final distribution rising to prominence in 2026 is Ubuntu. For many years, Ubuntu has been one of the most recognizable names in the Linux world, and it continues to play a major role in bringing Linux to mainstream audiences. Ubuntu's strength lies in its balance between accessibility, innovation, and enterprise-grade reliability. Ubuntu has invested heavily in making Linux approachable for newcomers. The installation process is straightforward, the hardware detection is excellent, and the default software selection covers most everyday needs. For users who simply want a system that works immediately after installation, Ubuntu remains one of the easiest entry points into the Linux ecosystem. At the same time, Ubuntu is deeply integrated into the broader technology landscape. It powers countless cloud servers, development environments, and enterprise systems around the world. This widespread adoption means that software compatibility, documentation, and community support are extremely strong. For developers and IT professionals, Ubuntu provides a familiar environment that bridges desktop and server computing seamlessly. In recent years, Ubuntu has also embraced modern packaging technologies that make software installation simpler and more secure. These systems allow developers to distribute applications with all their dependencies included, reducing compatibility issues and ensuring consistent performance across different systems. As the Linux ecosystem continues to evolve, these innovations help maintain Ubuntu's position as one of the most influential distributions available. Taken together, these 5 distributions illustrate the diversity and strength of the Linux revolution in 2026. Linux Mint represents stability and familiarity for users, transitioning from traditional desktops. Fedora showcases the latest innovations shaping the future of open-source computing. Pop_OS demonstrates how thoughtful design can enhance productivity and performance. Arch Linux empowers advanced users with unparalleled customization and control. Ubuntu continues to serve as a welcoming gateway that connects newcomers to the broader Linux ecosystem. For many people, the idea of leaving a familiar operating system can feel intimidating at first. However, the progress made by Linux distributions over the past decade has dramatically lowered the barriers to entry. Installation tools are simpler, hardware compatibility is stronger, and software availability continues to grow. Modern Linux desktops are visually appealing, responsive, and capable of handling everything from everyday browsing to professional workloads. Another important factor driving the Linux revolution is the global community behind it. Unlike proprietary systems controlled by a single corporation, Linux is developed collaboratively by thousands of contributors around the world. This open model encourages rapid innovation, transparency, and user-focused design. When problems arise, communities often respond quickly with solutions, updates, and improvements. In 2026, the momentum behind Linux is stronger than ever. Advances in gaming compatibility, professional creative software, and hardware driver support have expanded Linux's reach into areas where it once struggled. Tools such as compatibility layers and open graphics drivers have transformed the gaming landscape, allowing thousands of titles to run smoothly on Linux systems. Meanwhile, improvements in multimedia tools and development frameworks have made Linux a powerful platform for creators and engineers alike. For users who value privacy and control, Linux also offers advantages that are difficult to ignore. Because the system is open source, anyone can examine the code to understand how it works. There are no hidden data collection mechanisms or forced cloud integrations, unless the user chooses to enable them. This transparency has become increasingly appealing in an era when digital privacy is a growing concern. Perhaps the most exciting aspect of the Linux revolution is that it is still unfolding. New distributions continue to emerge, existing projects continue to improve, and hardware manufacturers are increasingly recognizing Linux as an important platform. As more companies release drivers, support tools, and Linux-compatible devices, the ecosystem becomes even stronger. Looking ahead, it is clear that Linux will continue to play a major role in shaping the future of personal computing. The 5 distributions highlighted here are not just operating systems. They represent different visions of what computing can be when users have freedom, choice, and control over their technology. Whether someone prefers simplicity, innovation, performance, or customization, there is a Linux distribution designed to meet those needs. For anyone watching the evolution of desktop computing, the message is becoming harder to ignore. The Linux revolution is real, and it is accelerating. The tools are better, the experiences are smoother, and the community is stronger than ever before. As 2026 unfolds, more users will likely discover that the world of Linux offers possibilities they never imagined. And for those who have spent years relying on traditional operating systems, the question is no longer whether Linux is ready for the mainstream. The real question is how long it will take before even more users realize just how powerful, flexible, and exciting the Linux ecosystem has become. The revolution is already underway, and the distributions leading the charge are proving that the future of desktop computing might look very different from the past.